Hey guys, why don't you wipe your feet? Come on inside. I'll give you the tour.
Alright guys, welcome to the shop. I recently just redid a bunch of stuff. You'll have saw me do all the work in the last video, but in this video I wanted to give a whole new tour and tell you guys some things that I left out on the other video and some things that I left out on the shop hacks video. So you're gonna get a tour and some hacks. Let's start off in that corner right next to you guys, right by the service door. So as you guys can see, over in this area is my metal lathe, and all of the tooling for that metal lathe is up in this corner. And then I keep all of my spray paint right over here. Now a little hack for you is because this shelf is so shallow and right next to the service door, every time I would close the door, cans of paint would get knocked off, and that is why I went through and I wrapped these bungees in front of all of them. And having these bungees on there, I'm actually also able to double up if need be and keep those things right there. Little hack there. On top of this, I have some storage right here. I keep things of hinges and knobs and stuff like that. And then underneath here, I made a big old, basically a wooden box on wheels for all of my little tiny scrap metal that I can use for the lathe or for just wood metal projects in general. The welder just sits in front of the lathe because I don't really have a place for the welder, and the plug for the welder is right there. Let's head this direction. As you can see next to the service door, I have this small storage bin thing that I made for smaller lengths of metal. Metal that's too long to fit in the box over there, but I've got it, it's at an angle, so I have smaller stuff here, larger stuff there. Obviously that makes sense. I have the Milwaukee spotlight sitting right here, right next to the service door, and that is because if we lose power and we need to grab that, we don't have to walk through the entire dark shop to grab it. I think that's a very good idea for you guys to do. Did that actually for my wife. And let's head behind me. Now I still have the air purifier right here. That's just a box fan surrounded by filters. I did a video on doing that a few years ago. I still use it and it still actually works fantastic for collecting dust particles that come out through the shop. But now one thing that you're probably noticing when you've seen the ceiling over here and in the intro area is you probably notice that this back wall and all the walls are basically paneled now. Now I did that because of the fact that when I was building the Barber Jeep and I was grinding, I actually lit the shop on fire because I lit the paper insulation on fire. And it also goes with the ceiling. Now I paneled the ceiling because of the fact when I'm working on the bench vise right here and I'm grinding, normally the sparks are shooting into the ceiling. So I just figured it was a better idea. I just paneled the whole ceiling with OSB and then I painted it to make it look a little bit better. And now we go over to this pegboard, the workbench area. Not a whole lot has changed over here. I don't want to get too repetitive of my original shop hacks video. If you're interested in that, I would highly recommend checking that out because there's a lot of little things in the shop that I've done that have made the shop more efficient and a little bit cooler. But this is the pegboard wall. I would recommend always having a pegboard wall because your stuff always seems to change. You upgrade tools, you lose tools, you gain tools. I did put some drawers down here that I got when I redid the kitchen. Video on that also on the channel. So now I have some drawers underneath here. Not a whole lot has changed over on this wall. Let's go swing around. So this wall took a heck of a transformation because I did the same thing. I redid paneling on this wall. I added this little mini storage bin thing from Harbor Freight. I wouldn't recommend buying one. They're pretty awful. I did recently make this sandpaper holder thing. It's all labeled. I know grits, I know size. I love that thing, which made me shorten up this fastener shelf. Not a problem with that. I still like that. I added a light over this bench for all of my bench top tools because this shelf would block a lot of light, and now I don't because I have this big shelf where I have a bunch of storage up on top. I also had to redo my battery powered hanger tool storage thing, and that was because I added a couple tools and I wanted to make it a little bit better than when I had just thrown it together originally. And then we still have the nail cell back there, which is great. And under there is the shop vac for all of my dust collection. Again, if you want to see that, there's a video on that. But if I could just touch on that real quick, that thing works fantastic, and I have to empty it every 3 to 4 months. I get a full 5 gallon of sawdust. Check the video if you're interested on how I did my dust collection. One thing that I left out on the shop hacks video that I want to bring up on this video is this light switch right here. Now this light switch doesn't control any lights, it actually controls speakers. Now I play my music off of this old school CD player that I just hook my phone up to, and I listen to the music there. I have speakers up in 2 corners of the shop, and I listen to music in here. Now if I want to listen to music outside, all I have to do is flip that switch. That switch is a 3-way switch that is wired up to control the speakers either in the shop or out of the shop. Now I did those speakers out of the shop through the vented soffit. All I did was I laid the speakers right on top of the vent portion of the soffit, and in between the speaker and the aluminum soffit, I did wrap a little bit of that stick-on foam that you use for windows and doors to help control vibration. It's just a hack that I did that I left out of the other video. Thought I would bring it in this video. One thing that I did from the last shop hacks video to this shop hacks video is right here used to actually sit a propane tank, which is how I heat the shop. Now, if you've watched my videos, you follow me, you know that I use a torpedo heater to get the heat up to a comfortable temperature, and then I use the RV furnace to maintain it. And there is a video on, I explain how about my heat setup I have here. I had the tank under here, and then I had the torpedo heater right here. I moved the tank outside into the lean-to behind there. A couple reasons. One is that's why I don't have to have a propane tank inside my shop because there's any leaks or anything crazy like that. And the other reason is now I'm actually able to run a 30-pound tank compared to just the 20-pound tank. Now this upgrade was a long time coming and a very very needed thing in the shop is I built a rack that you can't even see because it's covered, but this is all of my wood storage. I built the rack out of steel, and now I'm able to actually get to my full sheets back here without removing absolutely all of this. Huge game changer for me. It was one of the things I knew I needed to do when I was going to do the upgrade to the shop. And again, this side of the shop took the hugest, biggest part of the renovation. I did a lot, like I said. I did sheet the entire wall. I upgraded all of my clamp storage. Now all of my clamps are together and organized, which is a big deal. My files, which used to be over on the bench, if you remember that, again, if you remember that shop hacks video, was terrible. Every time you would bump it, they would fall off. They were held on by small magnets. Now I have a full magnet strip that holds them on. I think I'm gonna get more because that is just absolutely wonderful. One thing that I did leave out of the actual shop renovation video was I added T-track into my Chopsaw miter station. And that is gonna be absolutely amazing because I also built myself a small little stop block. So now I'm able to put the block on, tighten it down, and make repetitive cuts consistently. Something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Normally I would either screw a board actually to the table, or I would just clamp a board to the back wooden fence that I have here. And I also made these hold down clamps as well, so those will go in the T-track also, and then help clamp stuff down to this small bench right here. I built those clamps myself because it was way cheaper than buying them online. I already had to buy the knobs for the stop block, so built those. Keep them right there. T-track system. Moving my airline system up here. Now if you're wondering where the compressor is, because the compressor used to be over by the spray paint area, and then I moved it off. You guys didn't even know I moved it, but I moved it over underneath this bench. I actually moved it outside into that lean-to I talked about where I moved the propane tank. And I did that because everyone on the shop hacks video was talking about how dangerous air compressors were to have in the shop, whatever. I moved it out there. It's quieter out there now. And if I ever want to go bigger, I'm able to go bigger. All I did was I ran an air hose through the shop, up through the ceiling, and now it's controlled over by this switch right here. If I turn it on, you hear the compressor fire up out in the lean-to. So that's great. And I didn't want to move the airline way out in the back, the hose reel, because the shop's 20 feet, the hose reel's 30 feet. I sometimes like to fill tires outside of the shops. So this is one of the first cabinets that I've ever had in the shop, really, and it is for all of my paints, finishes, everything like that. I have my extra paper towels, I have my chip brushes, I have all that storage, all that stuff in here. This keeps it all in here, controls it, organizes it, makes it look a lot better. Really, really happy about this upgrade right here. That wasn't the only form of cabinet that I built though. Go down on me here. So now inside this cabinet, which again used to be where the compressor was, is all of the benchtop tools that I don't have a benchtop for. A lot of these are new to me tools. I now have a wooden lathe I keep in here. The dog wants to smell around in there, but you can see right there I have a little 13-inch planer now. I have my job site chopsaw that you can't see because the dog's in the way, and then she bangs the camera. I have my metal bandsaw that I have down there, and then back in that corner is the metal chopsaw. And those used to just be absolutely everywhere, and now they aren't. I also put magnets right here on the doors too. Just a little thing to keep your doors closed. That was the extra cabinet that I had built. Now the organizational aspect of this corner makes me so happy. So I have all of my bin storage, all of my fasteners right here. And I went through and I absolutely organized them, because if you have any of this, you'll know that after a few years, it gets absolutely just messed up. I went through, redid all of them, got them all situated nicely. But this right here, this is what I'm proud of. I have all of my blades, all my cutoff wheels, everything here and organized. And that's for all of my tools. Just really, it just looks phenomenal, and I'm very, very happy about it. Resheeting the wall did allow me to actually be able to drop down the winch that controls the overhead table. If you don't know about the overhead table, video on it. Make sure you watch it. It is an absolute necessity in a small shop, because I'm able to take my this work table from the ground all the way up with this winch. But moving the winch down, it's a lot easier for me because I'm short. So that was a huge upgrade for me in this shop. If you've been watching me for the past, I don't know, 6-8 months, you'll notice I did get a new, hi. You'll notice that I did get a new drill press, a stand-up drill press, a lot better. Really happy with this, but I also have in this little drawer right here that you can't see because the dog again is in the way. Right here, I actually keep all my drill bits and router bits in this little tiny drawer right here. Over on this wall, well, the switch is on the wall, but the actual thing's on the ceiling and on the outside wall is I added an exhaust fan, and it was actually something that I really should have did a long time ago. What this does is this will suck all my welding fumes and paint fumes out. Now I have the switch over on this wall right here, and I have a timer switch, so I'm able to just hit the button and then I don't have to worry about remembering to turn it off. Something that I should have did a long time ago, something that I would recommend you do. Also a video on that too as well. And that is pretty much going to wrap this video up here with this tour. If you're interested in a lot of stuff that I did in the shop, like the air purifier, the dust collector, the drop down table, I have videos on all that on my channel. I would recommend you check out my hot shop hacks video I did about a little over a year ago, because that video goes in a lot more detail about all the little tiny things that I've done to actually gain more room in the shop. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.